Okay, so here before you is the grid of progress, and here is the up-to-date grid showing how far into the first issue I am. While I was scrolling through Instagram, I saw someone else had a grid like this on their wall to track their progress, and I thought it would be helpful if I did it because, as we all know, the more organized the better if you want to be productive. Since the last video, I haven't done a ton of work on the comic itself, mostly out of laziness, but I also have had to work overtime at my job for a couple weeks in a row, so that's eaten into my free time. And actually, as I'm writing this script, and you might be able to hear in the background, I'm having to babysit a printer at the moment as it finishes a job that I'm running. One thing I did work on was some world building, which was in the form of creating a logo for the bounty hunter organization that exists in my book. And here you can actually see here you can basically see all my sketches for the bounty hunter organization. These are all the sketches I made during the process of working out this logo. You can see I started on this page with a bunch of junk. And then I was like, I thought maybe I'd just do the letters, and then I was like, well, they sort of need an image, because that would be cooler, plus images work across languages, and so images for organizations in a post-apocalyptic world would probably be better than just letters. And also, letters are hard to keep legible, but images can sometimes be more legible than letters, depending on size and distance and stuff like that. So design-wise, an image just made more sense to me. And I know it may not look like it, but I got a bachelor's degree in graphic design, so I have some experience with these, at least more experience than your average person. So I was like, what's a good logo for this organization? And I thought a vulture would be good because with how the world works in the story, the bounty hunters are sort of, it's the biggest living that you can make. It's the most lucrative business because it's sort of an outlaw type of world. So the bounty hunters are sort of what keep order. And vultures sort of represent to me like picking up the scraps, picking off things, scavenger types. And to be a bounty hunter in sort of this type of abandoned ghost world, you would have to be able to survive. You'd have to be able to pick up scraps. So that was sort of my inspiration for a vulture. So I looked up some vultures online, and I started trying to figure out what their main shapes were. And I got some. I got their neck. Their neck seems to be the signature thing that would clue people in that it was a vulture. So I started messing around with just the neck shape. I started messing around with, like, if I'm gonna put it in a circle, like I'm gonna put a circle around it. How I'm gonna have to cut off, parts of the lower body. How it's gonna interact with the letters BHO for Bounty Hunter Organization. If I thought maybe it'd be cool if I did like one of those beak forward ones with the wings spread out, but then I was like, I don't know how to draw a bird's head with the beak down. It would look too weird. It wouldn't translate how I wanted it to translate. And then I was thinking, here's just a random drawing of the Grim Reaper, because I thought that might also be a good logo. But then I was like, maybe it's too cliche, and also that's a hard image to. It's not a hard image to recognize, but it's a hard image to like reinvent, if that makes sense. And it's not very unique. And that's why I have a skull up here too, because I thought maybe skulls. Then when I was doing skulls, I was like, oh, I could do like a vulture with like the pirate flag, like a Jolly Roger, like the vulture body with the bones sticking out of it, 4 ways. And then I was like, that's not really going to work. Also, now that I'm looking, this sort of looks like a worm coming out of an apple. Sort of funny. And then I was like, well, maybe I just do a vulture holding a bone, but then I was like, that's going to not translate well in terms of a graphical graphic design, since that's just not. It just breaks graphic design rules, and I was like, can't do it. Can't break the rules. You know what I mean? In some ways you can, but in this particular instance, I didn't think so. So then I was like, maybe I'll just do it, split it in half, put the letters in the half that I've like split. So that's what I ended up going with because I liked this the most. And I changed it just a bit when I put it into the comic, but I don't know what I'm going to do about the legs. I can't really figure out how the legs of the vulture would translate. So the only other thing I'll have to figure out with this logo now that I have it is how it will fit onto like the official bounty hunter badge that a bounty hunter in the world would carry around, because it's sort of oblong, so it's not going to fit super well on like a circular badge. So I'll have to figure that out, but that's a problem for later. And the only other thing is look at what came in the mail this week. So I know this isn't the most popular, but also it isn't the most controversial of the volumes from Cerebus, but it's all I could find inexpensively that was more than a single issues. And I really got it just so I can see Dave Sim and Gerhard do black and white comics really well, to see someone who's a master of it do it, because this is, past when they've sort of hit the prime of the comic. So the quality, as far as I know, of the drawing didn't go down, just sort of the quality of the story went down, and the quality of respect towards the readers went down, sort of. Anyway, that's why I got it, and I'm really looking to try to dive into more black and white comics in general, because that's what mine is, and I'd really like to see other artists do it and see how they handle certain problems. So if any of you have any black and white comic recommendations, you please leave them for me in the comments. And I'm really as new to this black and white comic reading thing as I am to creating them, so I really need an education on that. Thanks for your support as always, and I'll see you next time.